Hello students, in this video we are going to start chapter number 10 of History, 18th century political formations. Now, if we look at this map very carefully, this is basically the boundary of the Mughal Empire, which is starting from here to here. But inside we can see a lot of new kingdoms like Sikh, Awadh, and Bengal, Hyderabad, Marathas, these now started emerging. So what started happening was that Mughal Empire, which was very strong, very powerful, it started becoming very weak. And in different regions, different type of new powers, they started coming up. Just say, for example, in Maharashtra, Marathas, they became an independent power in the region of Uttar Pradesh, Awadh. The Nawab of Awadh now started becoming an independent Nawab. So, during the first half of 18th century, things were changing. Now, the boundaries of Mughal Empire were started getting reshaped or they started changing because of the emergence of a number of independent kingdoms. Independent kingdoms. And apart from these independent kingdoms, by 1765, notice how another power, the British, had successfully grabbed major chunks of territory in the eastern India. Now, look at this map, this orange portion. Here you can see the area of Bengal and this one. These were the places which were under the Britishers. So slowly now the Britishers also started, acquiring the territories of India, and Mughal Empire started becoming weak day by day. In this chapter, we will read about the emergence of new political groups in the subcontinent during the first half of the 18th century. 18th century means 1700 to 1799. Please remember. Okay, so we are talking about this time period. And roughly from 1707, when Aurangzeb died, till the third battle of Panipat in 1761. So basically, Aurangzeb was the last powerful ruler of Mughals. After Aurangzeb, the Mughal rulers were very weak. So we are going to talk about this. Okay, now the crisis of the empire and later Mughals. In chapter 4, we saw how Mughal Empire reached the height of its success and started facing a variety of crises towards the closing years of the 17th century. Now the thing is, earlier it was very powerful, but slowly, as we reached the 17th century, the Mughal Empire started getting weaker. These were caused by a number of factors. Emperor Aurangzeb had depleted the military and financial resources of his empire by fighting a long war in the Deccan. So, what happened during the after Shah Jahan? Shah Jahan was a person who built Taj Mahal and so many places, so many monuments, and because of which the wealth of the Mughal Empire started almost got finished. So, to acquire wealth, now Aurangzeb, his son, Shah Jahan's son, what he had to capture the territories, more territories he had to bring in various other territories into Mughal Empire. Why? Because to acquire wealth, to acquire taxes. Now, so he left Delhi, he left Agra, and he came down to Deccan to fight a very long war. Under his successors, the efficiency of the imperial administration broke down, and after Aurangzeb, the administration almost broke down. It became increasingly difficult for the later Mughal emperors to keep a check on the powerful Mansabdars. So, we talked how Mansabdars were the important ministers. They were powerful ministers who had who uh, who were given rank. They also had land under them. So basically it became very difficult to control all these people. Now nobles appointed as governors. So basically these subedars who were appointed for different places, जैसे for example for Bengal, the Mughal emperor appointed कि बंगाल के रीजन के लिए एक अलग से अलग गवर्नर होगा, एक अलग सूबेदार होगा, अवध के लिए अलग होगा, एंड अफगानिस्तान के लिए अलग होगा. So these were appointed by the Mughal emperor, were often controlled the offices of revenue and military. And the thing is, these people control the revenue. Revenue means they you control the money which came in form of taxes. So it was under their control, and apart from this, they also controlled military, the army as well. This gave them extraordinary political, economic, and military powers over vast regions of Mughal Empire. So these were these people, Mansabdars and Subedars. They were very, very powerful. As the governors consolidated their control over provinces, the periodic remission of revenue to the capital declined. So basically, their job was to collect the revenue from the places वो जहाँ भी थे. जैसे अगर कोई बंगाल का सूबेदार था तो his job was to collect revenue from Bengal and give it to the capital. Capital is Delhi. But slowly, what they started doing, they started collecting taxes and kept it themselves. They started, they didn't pass along the money. उन्हें दिल्ली या फिर कैपिटल को देना ही बंद कर दिया पैसा. Now, peasant and zamindari rebellions in many parts of northern and western India added to these problems. Another problem was peasants were not happy, landowners were not happy. These revolts were sometimes caused by the pressures of mounting taxes and taxes. The pressure of paying taxes was very much. Even if they were not earning anything, they had to give the tax, because of which they were protesting. At other times, there were attempts by powerful chieftains to consolidate their own position. So basically, what started happening was that these people, these powerful people, what they started doing, ये किसी एक जगह पे अपना कब्जा करने लग गए. They started consolidating their own position. अगर उनको जैसे बंगाल दिया है या किसी को साउथ इंडिया दिया है तो वहां पे ये लोग इन लोगों ने कब्जा कर लिया, परमानेंट कब्जा. Mughal authority had been challenged by rebellious groups in the past as well, but these groups were now able to seize the economic resources of the region to consolidate their position. The Mughal emperors, after Aurangzeb, were unable to arrest the gradual shifting of political and economic authority into the hands of provincial governors, local chieftains, and others. So basically, what happened was, since the king, the Mughal emperor, he became very weak. उसकी पावर ऑलमोस्ट खत्म हो गई थी. उनके जितने भी चीफ्स थे, सूबेदार्स थे, मनसबदार्स थे, इन लोगों ने क्या किया, ये जिस एरिया में अपॉइंटेड थे इन लोगों ने वहां पे कंप्लीट कब्जा कर लिया और वो टैक्सेस लेना स्टार्ट. उनकी पावर बढ़ती चली गई. दे बिकेम वेरी वेरी पावरफुल. एंड इन लोगों ने क्या किया, धीरे धीरे मुगल एम्परर से अपना रिश्ता नाता तोड़ दिया एंड दे बिकेम इंडिपेंडेंट. Earlier they worked for Mughal emperor. Now they became independent. Now, in the midst of this economic and political crisis, the ruler of Iran, his name was Nadir Shah, sacked and plundered the city of Delhi in 1739. Important person. Nadir Shah came from Iran, came to Delhi, plundered Delhi in 1739, and took away immense amounts of wealth. This invasion was followed by series of plundering raids by Afghan ruler, and after Nadir Shah who came, Ahmad Shah Abdali, he came from Afghanistan, looted Delhi, who invaded North India 5 times between 1748 and 1760. So basically, they came, looted, and took away all the wealth from India. Already under severe pressure from all sides, the empire was further weakened by the competition among different groups of nobles. There were nobles, nobles basically the ministers. They came from different groups. They were divided into two major groups, the Iranis and the Turanis. And they started fighting among each other, because of which the empire became more weak day by day. For a long time, the later Mughal emperors were puppets in the hands of either one or the other of these powerful groups. Now, the worst possible humiliation came when two Mughal emperors, that is, Farooq Siyar and Alamgir too, were assassinated. Assassinated means killed. And two others, Ahmad Shah and Shah Alam too, were blinded by the nobles. So basically, ये जो ministers थे, they now became very powerful. That they killed the emperor, and इनने अहमद शाह और शाह आलम टू को blind कर दिया था. So as the Mughal Empire was declining, the governors of large provinces, subadars, and great zamindars consolidated their authority in different parts of the continent. Now, through the 18th century, the Mughal Empire gradually fragmented means divided into a number of independent regional states. Broadly speaking, the states of 18th century can be divided into three groups, which first is states that were old Mughal provinces like Awadh, Bengal, Hyderabad. Basically, these were earlier the provinces which were under the Mughal Empire. Although extremely powerful and quite independent, the rulers of these states did not break their formal ties with Mughal Empire. So basically, यहाँ पे क्या हुआ था कि इनके जो रूलर्स थे उनने कहीं ना कहीं मुगल एम्परर से फिर भी एक लिंक बनाए रखा था, एक एसोसिएशन बनाए रखा था. Second were states that had enjoyed considerable independence under the Mughals as Watan Jagirs. So basically ये मुगल एम्पायर के अंदर भी इंडिपेंडेंट होते थे, इनको हम वतन जागीर कहते थे. These included several Rajput principles. So basically area under the Rajputs. That is the area in western India, especially Rajasthan wala area. Third were the last group included states under the control of Marathas, Sikh, and others like the Jats. These were of differing sizes and had seized their independence from the Mughals after long drawn armed struggle. So basically ये third वाले ये थे जिनने लड़ाई करके, जिनने लड़ के मुगल एम्परर से अपनी इंडिपेंडेंस हासिल की थी. फॉर एग्जाम्पल मराठास अंडर शिवाजी and Sikhs in especially in the area of Punjab, and the Jats especially in the area of Haryana, today's Haryana.